What's going on, everybody? If you're seeing this page, that means the official Torian Rain Reloaded merch store is now available. To get access to the store, make sure you go ahead and click the store tab on my YouTube channel. From there, you will be able to see all the merch that is available. We have mugs, shirts, hoodies, joggers, and so much more to come. All original designs made by yours truly, Torian Rain Reloaded. Now go ahead and get your merch today, and you can feel nothing in style.
If there is anything for me to address at all with you, it's that you know, it's the one thing that has bothered me is seeing people wrap politics up into this. I'm disappointed to see, like, it's aggravating seeing people on conservative news try to identify with me like I'm one of them. It's aggravating seeing certain musicians and politicians act like we're buddies and act like we're fighting the same struggle here, like that we're trying to present the same message. You know, I've had a lot of people reach out to me, and I've tried to be polite to everybody, and I've talked to hundreds of people the last 2 weeks. But it seems like certain people want to just ride the attention of this song to maybe make them their own selves relevant, and that's aggravating as hell. The other thing that I find aggravating is, well, you know, like, it was funny seeing my song in the, it was funny seeing it at the presidential debate, because it's like, I wrote that song about those people, you know? So for them to have to sit there and listen to that, that cracks me up. But it was funny kind of seeing the response to it. Like, that song has nothing to do with Joe Biden, you know? It's a lot bigger than Joe Biden. That song is written about the people on that stage, and a lot more too, not just them, but definitely them.
This was an unexpected video for me to make, but Rob Blacklight Revelations actually tagged me in this, and he said, "Torian, I think you should speak on this." And I never want to miss an opportunity if I feel like I'm going to go at a certain particular group of people that love to come at us. But the subject matter definitely caught me off guard, and usually I can say some things don't surprise me, but this one kind of took me aback, I'll admit it. So y'all just saw that video clip right there of Anthony Oliver. He is an artist, and he came out with that song Richmond North of Richmond, which a lot of conservatives have helmed up as another anthem for themselves after what happened with Jason Aldean. They needed a replacement very, very fast. We know when he did that Try That in a Small Town, and we saw what happened with that debacle. Like, that was like a slow burn of a crash, and it seems like this one is going to be no different, but in a very interesting way. And I'm using this picture right here to prove a point, because on here it says that Richmond North of Richmond song went #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and I'm assuming that it was this week. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure when it went #1 on the Billboard charts, and I'm recording this video on August 26, 2020. So pretty much to summarize up what he was saying in the video, he was like, this video or this song was not made for the conservatives like they pushed it out there to be, because, you know, of course they took it and they twisted it into, oh, it's another anthem for us, and, you know, if you're a patriot, if you're all American, this is going to be, you know, your upliftment song and whatnot. And it's crazy how many people on YouTube were reacting to the song and the stuff they were saying about the song. But he was like, no, the song has nothing to do with that. As a matter of fact, they're talking about, they think the song is about the liberal left, as they like to call it. But in all actuality, when you really think about it in hindsight, it's about them, or at least those who they support. Because you saw and heard in the video, he said this song is not about Joe Biden. I know that probably had to sting when they heard that part. When he said this song is not about Joe Biden, which I'm assuming many of them probably thought the song was about him, or anyone associated with the quote unquote liberal left. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, you do realize that y'all are probably the ones he's talking about. But I said, look, I'll just sit back. I'm not paying any attention to it. I had really no interest in the song. It's just amazing what they threw their ideology behind, but he had to come out and say like that's not what the song was meant to be about. And I find it also interesting that he didn't say anything until now, but I think it's because when, like, as he said, that the song was used in the debate recently, and it was, because if you watch the debate, they played the song like in the beginning after they asked like the first question, and they played a piece of the video in there. We heard the song and he was like, oh God, here we go. And then he throws that Uno reverse card on us and say, nah, this song isn't meant for the narrative that you're trying to spin it into. But if you really pay attention to it, it actually really is about you. But you thought that it wasn't, because you saw this white, gingered haired guy who looks like he lives in the wilderness playing this guitar, singing the country song. So that just automatically meant it's what you thought it was, but it really wasn't. This is how dumb and idiotic a lot of those con and conservatives actually are. They actually thought they had another win, but they just ended up taking and holding on to another L. And I'm gonna show you something else that's another L for them as it pertains to this situation. Check this out. Richmond, north of Richmond singer Oliver Anthony earning $40,000 per day after turning down an $8 million record deal. Let that sink in. They helped this man earn $40,000 a day since the release of his song, or at least its virility of it. And he had the opportunity to get an $8 million record deal. Like, this guy was set up good from jump when he came out with this song, thanks to them being so gullible. I'm gonna read a piece of it down in the article. It says, Oliver Anthony, the country crooner whose Richmond, north of Richmond hit a chord with blue collar workers, is reportedly raking in $40,000 per day from his self-released hit after turning down an $8 million record deal. The viral song about a man who sells his soul working all day while struggling under the weight of inflation, high taxes, and elitism has rocketed to the top of music charts since it dropped August 11th. Now, think about the little summary they just gave there. A man who sells his soul working all day while struggling under the weight of inflation, high taxes, and elitism. Did the people who really support this song really think it was about anybody else but them? They did. And this is why this guy was making $40,000 a day and was offered an $8 million record deal. Anthony's resulting whopping windfall has been generated mainly from downloads on iTunes and streaming sites like Spotify, according to American music industry trade magazine Hits. In its first week, Richmond, north of Richmond sold 147,000 downloads in its first week on iTunes, which pays up to 70 cents per download, amounting to roughly $102,000. This guy literally made 6 figures in a week from a song that went viral. Now, I don't know if he knew this song was going to go viral, but it did, and it ended up giving him a payday. And it said it's unclear how much of the rest of the $40,000 daily payout Anthony is making in royalties from streaming services like Spotify, which reportedly pays artists around 4 cents per stream. The Virginia country boy's tune has been streamed about 2 million times per day, according to data from streaming and audience data platform Chartmetric. It goes on to read a little bit more into that, but then it breaks it down even more in technical terms, but y'all pretty much get the gist of it. But as I was scrolling through, I found something else even more interesting. That number 1 apparently was from this week. As you can see, his song was number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. And he's competing against people who have been in the music industry for years. And this guy just popped up out of nowhere, and he released this song that a lot of people thought was one way, but it was really another way. And y'all ended up helping to boost the song to the number 1 spot. Again, they played themselves. And he even gave this one last statement, which I'm assuming came after the video. He says, "This will be my last post about politics on social media. I apologize for beating a dead horse, but I just need to address this quote in my video earlier since it's been misquoted and misinterpreted this evening. Corporate news, big surprise, is now trying to twist me into being a Biden supporter." Remember when he said that this song was not about Biden? Or whenever... Mainstream media is something else. If you don't agree with them, they automatically give you these labels. They said that song has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It's a lot bigger than Joe Biden. Is referencing DeSantis' response to my song. He talks about needing to get Joe Biden out as if that would automatically solve all the problems. Biden is a big part of the issue, but it runs much deeper. Richmond, north of Richmond, is about corporate-owned DC politicians on both sides. Though Biden is most certainly a problem, the lyrics aren't exclusively knocking Biden. It's bigger and broader than that. It's knocking the system collectively, including the corporate-owned conservative politicians that were on stage that night. Then he puts a smile emoji and says, "Good night, everyone. Thanks again." Like I said, the joke is on them. They played themselves again because they overplayed their hand, as they tend to do. And they love to tell everyone else how gullible they are when it comes to politics. Honestly, a lot of those conservatives just call themselves conservatives because it sounds nice, or they feel it gives them into certain spaces, or it gives them an audience. This guy literally broke down for you that this has nothing to do with what y'all think it is, but y'all took it and you twisted it up because in your minds, that's what it was. You interpreted the way that you did, but you interpreted it wrongly. You interpreted the wrong way, and that's not the message he was conveying. I have a feeling that they're going to eventually like really fall out of love with this guy, more like fall out of lust, because I don't think it was no love there when it's all said and done. So this is another L that the conservatives are going to have to hold.